Hello, growth is something everyone wants, but very few people are taught how to build it predictably, ethically, and without burning out the people who are actually doing the work. Welcome to 5-Star Conversations Live, the wireless chat. I'm your host, Michelle M. Trey Hollis, and this is a space where we spotlight the people shaping health, healing, leadership, and connection across the borderland. Now, today's conversation is especially relevant for healthcare leaders, wellness practitioners, and mission-driven business owners. However, this guest has worked in all stages of business for a variety of different markets. I'm very excited to have him on board. I just met him just a few months ago. However, he is the co-founder of Catalyst, where he's going to explain a little bit more about that and how I've worked with that particular tool for 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City and for my marketing and clarifying my message. But he is the co-founder with one of my dear friends, Allison Chaney, who I've known for over 20 years. So trusted expert, and the proof is in the pudding, because I can honestly say that what they have built is incredible, and I'm very happy to share it with my people. And so, sometimes growth can feel chaotic, overwhelming, or out of control, but that's where Lucas and Catalyst and Orange Pegs comes in. He is a growth strategist, founder of Orange Pegs, and co-founder of Catalyst, whose process and thinking have directly influenced how we build and scale here again at the 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City. Lucas helps leaders turn vision into predictable, repeatable growth by creating systems that allow ideas to be tested, measured, and expanded without chaos or burnout. So without further ado, Lucas, come on up. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here today.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to share with everybody watching what you have created, how easy that it is to use. It's not simple at all by any stretch of the imagination. It's goes very deep, and but it is super, super easy. It's like having you there with me. So before we get started on exactly what the solution is, let's kind of peel back the layer, because I think that the word growth is thrown around a lot. Growth, revenue, personal brand, marketing, advertising, and especially for the people that I work with in healthcare, I noticed that they're not really even on social media. The way that they go about building and developing business might be a lot different. So from your intelligent mind and expert mind in this space, when leaders say that they want to grow, what do you think they're actually struggling with beneath that word? And what are people really looking for, would you say?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think everybody has a different idea of what growth is when it comes to their business. And I think what they tend to struggle with is really trying to understand what the path for growth looks like. It's one thing to say, I want to grow my business and let's go do some blog posts. Let's go run some social media ads. And these things don't always connect. And I think for a lot of people who are starting to invest in growing their brand or their personal business or whatever it is that they're working on, they get tunnel vision on tactics and things that they know are supposed to do something for them, but they don't necessarily know how or how it fits into the bigger picture. And so everybody sort of gets like this tunnel vision on these things. And what ends up happening is they end up spinning their wheels. They don't end up accomplishing a lot. They spend a lot of time working on it, a lot of time building and creating, only to end up with either something that they don't feel confident in publishing and putting out there, or if they do put it out there, it just doesn't do anything anyway, because they weren't looking at the entire universe around it. They were only thinking, social media is going to solve all my problems. We'll go viral. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to help somebody go viral over the last 10 years, 12 years I've been doing this. And there's just no there's no logic to that, right? Anybody can go viral, but that doesn't mean it's going to put revenue, in your business. So I think just the simplest way to describe it is just people think about growth in very tactical terms. They don't think about it in very strategic terms.
Ooh, so true. And what you said really hit a chord, because of course, if you're going to do social media, of course you want to go viral. I mean, of course, just, right. Off the top, that's kind of the new American dream 2026.
Right.
However, I love what you're saying, because, there's a difference between a person being a content creator and wanting to go viral, that may be wanting to be their business, their income is viral content, or just being a content creator. And I say that loosely, just being a content creator. I know it takes a lot of work, even when you do, right. when you are, but for you, because you primarily work with B2B companies, is that correct?
Yeah, and we've done a fair amount of work with e-commerce companies as well. Most of the time when we're helping a business, there's some sort of human-to-human sales process involved. There's a lot of different moving parts, a lot of complexity. But we've also worked in, like I said, e-commerce, food brands, worked with a company that sold modules online, like therapy modules. And so I feel like we've seen it all. I mean, we've done freight forwarding, we've done staffing agencies, we've done legal firms.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like we've just sort of touched on everything, even telecom and several other industries out there. And what I find is the problems are pretty much the same everywhere I go. People thinking in these very two-dimensional tactical terms. I want the next big thing. We had a client not that long ago who was just getting hyper fixated on the font that we were using on their website, thinking, well, if I change the font, this is going to solve all my problems. And it's like a real two-dimensional kind of approach to marketing. And in reality, growth is so much more comprehensive and holistic than that.
Love it.
Just like personal growth, right? Personal growth, you've got to address the mind, the body, and the soul. You can't just do one of those things and expect it to pay off.
Are you a preacher? Are you a preacher? Seriously though, that's so true. I love what you're saying. Yes, keep going. Yeah. So it's a holistic. You're saying that growth is holistic, and that's absolutely just as much in business as it is in personal. Can you, expound upon that? Because that's great. I love these I love this conversation. This is great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I personally like to meditate, and my meditation is it's not like sitting and closing my eyes and breathing. I go on hikes. I go on these what I call meditation hikes.
Yeah.
It's just me, and maybe I have my meditation playlist, blasting. I won't put in earbuds. I'll have it blasting on my phone in my pocket, and it's like, wind chimes and, and like humming and things, and people always kind of look at me funny. But the reality is that part of my life is just as important to my business as studying, what's going on with AI or what the latest trends are. And we actually started incorporating some of these ideas into our workshops and our masterminds. And in fact, I just talked to somebody this morning who looks like we're going to pair up with in our mastermind, and she's a neuropsychologist. And basically she helps people rewire their brains, people who are going through entrepreneur, fatigue, people who just kind of get to a certain point in life, just going in a certain direction and realize things are not working the way they want them to work. And so, at the beginning of our workshop, AI Plus You, we actually do about a 10 to 15 minute meditation where we walk people through kind of our happy place and what gets us inspired and how we go about, extracting these ideas, and really kind of get everybody to close their eyes and do the same thing. Because what we're doing is very introspective. We're getting into the philosophy of why you do what you do. Why is this business?
Yes.
Why do you even have this business? Why are you? I mean, look, you can go get a job somewhere else working for somebody else, and but there's a reason why you decided not to. There's a reason why you thought, I'm going to risk everything and start this thing on my own and be on my own. And just having that sort of having that clarity up front and be able to reflect on that as you go into these different exercises to grow your business, it's so important.
Such a blessing to and it's a clear slate, going in. It's so important, to leave everything outside, and so that they can really, like you're saying, connect into the purpose.
Exactly. I mean, when somebody hires us and says, you need to fix our messaging, and we say, okay, well, what's wrong with your messaging? Well, it's not getting the conversions we want. Okay, well, that's understandable. Yes, that's a scientific thing, a scientific observation here. But what does that even mean to improve it? Is it just about conversions, or is it that you're trying to convey something meaningful to people? And that disconnect that we all experience, and I went through it too, man. I had a rough year last year personally, and I ended up having, I don't know if you'd call it a mental break, but there was a point when I was just so stuck based on everything that was going on with my business and how AI was just, shattering all the norms of the past. And we're trying to figure out what the path forward is. And I couldn't see the future anymore. And that's usually one of my superpowers.
Scary.
Yeah, it really is scary. It's scary. It's frustrating. It's depressing. It's a lot of things. And so I went on a mental health retreat in Colombia, and it was a 6-day thing, and it was very intensive. And you sort through all your issues.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, when I came back from that, I was so energized. I was so passionate. I was so focused. Yeah, you know what? This has to be part of it. This can't just be a clip note.
That's right. That's right.
Aside. Yeah, this is an integral part of it.
It's not. This isn't. This era we can't compartmentalize what's true about life in the world, right?
Right. And I don't want to say especially, because I'm just going to speak from the perspective of an entrepreneur, of somebody who goes out on their own. And I'm going to say especially, even though I know that that's not true. This applies to everybody.
Correct.
But when you're a business owner,
focus of the show.
Right, exactly. But when you're a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're somebody who's putting everything on the line to succeed and do something special and different, and it fails or it doesn't work, man, that is soul crushing. Absolutely soul crushing. You define your own personal value based on the success of the business, and it's totally wrong. I mean, you shouldn't do that, but I think that's just human nature.
It's hard not to, though, because if you're doing it for those genuine reasons, if you're an empathic person, an emotionally intelligent person, if you're a person who is a service oriented person, then you can't separate that. And that's where, so I agree with you. That's where the disconnect is. Continue that. I'm sorry. I got excited. This is great.
No, it's fine. Yeah. And so that's, as we started putting together our programming for our mastermind, it became obvious to us how important it was to have that mental health check and to help ingrain and instill, habits and, practices routines, that's the word I'm looking for, routines that help us stay on track with all of that and just help us remember, look, at the end of the day, you're in it for you. You got to love you. You got to take care of you. It doesn't matter who else is out there and who else you're serving. You got to put yourself first.
Period.
And that is that was such a hard lesson as a parent, as a business owner, as people, and I have people on my payroll who, need benefits. And I'm sitting there thinking, I got to put everybody ahead of myself. I've got to sacrifice everything for these people. And at the end of the day, it's like that when you get on an airplane and they start talking about what happens if the oxygen pressure goes away. Put the mask on you first, and then you can take care of your kids around you. And that's what I wasn't doing. And I think that's what a lot of business owners, they don't do that either. They treat their businesses like their babies. They treat their employees like they're part of that machinery, which is great. But then they break down when it breaks down. having that inability sort of paralyzes you. Like, how do I deal with this really difficult situation? I don't have the capacity, the emotional capacity to go in there and lay somebody off. I just can't do it. I don't know how to bring myself to do that. But if I don't do that, the ship sinks,
It sinks all the time because of this. I've seen it so much in the past few years that I've been more aware, and I've been working with people, talking to people, working in different arenas. And so you're right. And the truth is that, like you're saying, you can't separate your message and your purpose from the operations too. So like what you're saying, like all of it has to go work through and through. Is that something that, obviously you recognize that in your business, and you realized, okay, if I'm going to be of service, and if I'm going to help people, because the nature of your business, Orange Pegs and Catalyst, is helping people with their messaging, and in this economy, authenticity is everything, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so being able to tie that message to the mission, to the brand, to the everything, right? And it can't just be a messaging thing. That's where another thing, going back to your original question of where do people struggle? They think they can solve problems with marketing, and marketing is a great tool for problem solving, but it doesn't solve problems by itself. So like if it's a messaging issue, maybe it's a product issue, maybe it's a service issue, maybe there's something a lot deeper, and you're just not connecting the dots between the sales pitch and what people are actually looking for here. And so, a lot of what's that?
I said the sales pitch, what they're looking for, and then what they're receiving, based on what you said.
Right, exactly. And so, you've got to just, I think for a lot of folks who just, again, going back to, growing their business, authenticity, you make such a great point with that, being genuine. Like, those things are so critical right now. You can't, you go on a LinkedIn today and you look at people's messages. That's what's winning. That's what's getting the clicks and the shares and the likes and all those things. Or when people are like being real. Now, granted, a lot of people are using AI to write those messages, and you can see that. I can see it. I can spot AI.
It's starting to also become its own filter of, is this too AI-ish?
Right, exactly. And you can see it. Like, you can see these. I can see AI a mile away, because we work in AI every single day. We teach these bots, how to speak out with our voice. That's what we help you build, right?
Yeah.
But that's where the human side of it comes into play too. It's like, well, listen, the companies that we work with don't necessarily do this. They're not building a marketing business. They're building a business that they need marketing to help grow. And so having people around you that are experts in that are playing in that arena every single day, every minute of every single day, is what helps kind of prevent you from getting caught into those traps. But yeah, going back to it, the authenticity, like, this is so important. And it was such a big difference maker for us too, because, you don't ever want to convey the image of failure. It's in business. It's really hard to say, come buy my products, I'm failing,
That's so true. That's hard. That's a hard line to walk, because, like you're saying, the authenticity.
Right. And we went through such a massive pivot last year that if we were to deny the fact that we were failing, it would be disingenuous. It would be hard to take us seriously. People would see right through us. But so the reality is that, look, we just got to embrace it, right? We're no longer providing full service marketing, full agency marketing services to companies that are spending $10,000 a month. That client has gone. They're disappearing.
Is it right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. AI has really it's replaced the agency in a lot of ways. And what you see in the last couple of years,
true. That's deep.
Yeah. And what you've seen in the last couple of years is agencies being completely just going out of business, just belly up completely. Marketers going, getting laid off. Companies are hiring their marketing team internally, but they're not really hiring a team. They're hiring a person, and they're saying, here's AI, take this person, go out and grow the business. And it creates a lot of challenges by itself, but I can get into that later. But the point is that mentality, what AI has done, has completely ravaged our industry. And I would be willing to bet that almost there won't be any industries untouched by AI. Everything is changing. And so we're all going through these pains together. It just so happens my industry is one of the first ones to get hit because generative AI decided, hey, let's go after creative jobs first.
I know. You know what, though? And that does suck, man. On the one hand, period for the creative, you know what I'm saying? But I still have to say on the one hand, and the reason why I say this and the reason why I love how you've pivoted to support the other person, the other kind of creative who I'm going to describe myself as 44 years old, has failed. It has had a lot of successes, a lot of failures in life. Don't necessarily have the, haven't had, I'm starting all over. I'm a creative person. I have the ideas, but I don't know how to use Adobe or, I don't know how I don't know how to design things. But I have the ideas. I also don't have the money to pay somebody to design things.
Right.
I understand my vision and my mission. However, and I understand the opportunities and I understand pattern recognition. I've done a lot of studying in sales, psychology, market, blah, blah, blah. But to actually create a path and make it make sense and be able to explain it to other people has always been my challenge because I just get so excited, but it's hard for me to explain things. And so that kind of brings us to your tool, your platform, your Catalyst tool and Orange Pegs. Before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about what the differences are, but what you've created? I know because I personally am benefiting from it. Like what you've created has been so helpful. I know it changed my life and gave me the confidence to move forward and to realize that I was clear because of the way that you set up your AI. So can you first talk about what the difference is between Orange Pegs and AI? If you were complete with what you were saying before, did I cut you off?
Absolutely. No, that's fine.
Okay. I get excited and I'm so appreciative of you. I'm really very passionate about this because I feel like even though AI has, like you said, it's destroyed the marketing agency model, which does suck. And on the other side, there's so many fresh idealistic people with solutions that may never have gotten a voice that are getting a voice now.
Absolutely.
And so that's the part that's what I'm kind of getting at when I talk about that.
Yeah. So, and I couldn't agree with you more. So, we've been doing this. Orange Peg started in 2013. So this would be our 13th year in business. I'm doing the math right. I think so. And we started Catalyst 3 years ago. Catalyst, born out of looking into the future, realizing the agency model as we know it is dying and it's not going to come back. And I believe that still to this day. Now, not to say that there won't be a space for a full service agency out there, because I think there definitely is space for that, especially if you're a bigger company, and you've got a lot of budget. But to your point, what makes me excited about Catalyst is it's an empowerment tool. It's not a full service tool it's not a full service agency delivery. It's an empowerment tool that gives you all of the benefits of an agency, but using AI and using our human guidance. And so Orange Pegs, full service, someone would hire us. We would own the outcomes. We would have a growth leader. We'd have a content team. We would have a project manager. We'd meet with a client 2 to 3 times a week. We meet with our sales team, and it was all, one-on-one. And, we'd create content. It would help, generate leads. And then we would work with their sales team to help bring those leads home. There are several problems with it today. One, we're fast. We're always really fast, but AI is faster than any human can ever be when it comes to creating content.
Truly.
So, if you think about the old days, like if you hired a marketer, you would say, okay, here's our plan. We're gonna have this content offer. This is gonna be our lead magnet. People fill out a form, they download this thing, and they're a lead in our system. But leading up to that, we need SEO, so that people it has to rank on Google. We need blog posts, we need social media posts, we need all these things. We'd send it to our content team. Our content team would go write it up, and then we'd send it to we'd look at it, review it, edit it, send it to our clients. Our clients would review it, and kick it back and say, here's my notes. And then you take it back to your content team. And there's think about all that transit and how much time that
back and forth.
So much back and forth. And think about how much time on the calendar it eats up. It's not just days, it's weeks, it's months.
Yeah.
And so
and then probably sometimes by the time you finalize the idea, it's the trend, whatever maybe you were thinking of, you've decided it's something different anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Being agile, which is something we always prided ourselves on, which means being able to move quickly and pivot and change direction very quickly. And, time kills everything. Time kills relationships, people, marketing ideas. It is a killer of all things.
For sure.
Especially now. Things change so fast. Like an idea that's good right this very second, right now today, may not be good in 2 weeks. And so you've got to be able to stand that thing up as quickly as possible in order to take advantage of, especially when you get momentum, when you generate velocity, you want to capitalize on that. You want to continue pushing that, but you can't do that with that old model. And so Catalyst is what we've done is we've taken our methodology, and like I said, we've been doing this is our 13th year. And in those 13 years, we have built playbooks, we built a certification program, all designed for internal, growth, because we were thinking, we're going to have to bring all these new clients on. I got to be able to scale my team. So we created the certification program. Well, then those clients didn't come because AI happened. And so we're like, all right, well, how do we turn that into something useful to us now? Let's package it up in this bot. So that's what we did. If you go on to ChatGPT, GPT Marketplace, you can find our Catalyst engine. And it has all of our methodology. So 13 years of methodology wrapped up into this one tool. And then we started thinking, okay, so we get this out there, we put it in people's hands. What now? And for some people, it's enough. All they need is the bot. They create their own version of it using the workshop that you went to. And they've got enough direction and enough strategic sort of guidance internally to handle it. For most people, they still need that human touch, that human support, someone to guide them and say, hey, this isn't necessarily going to advance your cause. Like you need to close more deals. You're talking about adding more leads to the pipeline. Yet we already identified that you're getting lots of leads all the way to the finish line, but they're not signing the contract. Why don't we work on that spot instead? AI is not going to tell you that. AI is going to say, oh, this is a great idea. Everything you say, oh, we love it. This is banging. Let's go with it.
And I love that. But I love being told that I'm so smart. I love that somebody finally sees me for my intelligence.
Yes, and it happens to be a bot. But then when you push back, it's like, oh yeah, my bad. You're totally right. Now here's the perfect response. And you're like, no. And so that's the difference with just going totally AI and working with our Catalyst tiers, because what we have now is we've got a platform completely by itself where you kind of run with it on your own. You have all of our materials, you have access to the system. Then the next level up from that is a mastermind, where we take people through a 13-week sequence, taking that bot that we helped you create and put together your first campaigns, teach you how to use the bot to read the data, read the outcomes of those campaigns, and then help you come up with more ideas going forward. And just getting you into that cycle and that cadence of every 2 weeks, we're going to go through what we call through these sprint cycles, and we're going to come up with new experiments, marketing experiments. And then we're going to execute them. Wash, rinse, repeat every 2 weeks, right? And then we have our VIP version, which is the same thing as the mastermind, but it's all one-on-one. So instead of a group session, it's one-on-one.
Okay.
So
what are the different tier prices?
Absolutely. So the bottom tier, which is just the platform itself, for the rest of January, it's $27 a month. It's going up to $199 a month starting February 1st. Anybody who starts in January will lock it in for a lifetime at $27. So
Woo!
I don't know when this podcast is going out, but
I'm trying to tell y'all, don't sleep on this. I'm trying to tell you, it's different than just having just ChatGPT. I cannot stress it enough. You need to get this. I'll make sure I get the link from Lucas. It's worth every penny of $199. I'll tell you that much too. So
thank you. Yeah, no, we put a lot of work in this thing. Yeah. I'm in there every day playing around with the prompts, playing around with the programming. And that's the thing, like on your own, if you were to just build this bot and then walk away with it, it's still going to work. But if you don't have the prompts, if you don't have all of those other things that we consistently and constantly support, it's not going to work. It's not going to work as well for as long.
It's incredible. And
then, so our mastermind is 13 weeks and it's $5,000 total for the 13 weeks. And then, and
that's in addition to the 190 or the 27. No. So that's just during the 13 weeks. And then after that.
Good question. So it's a 13-week mastermind, but you get the hub for a full year for that amount. So if you think about it, at $200 a month, that's $2,400 a year. So really what you're saying is the mastermind is $2,600 if you want to do math like that.
Yeah.
But the thing for us is like, we go through this mastermind, we go through this process, we want people to succeed. It's like, I went to that mental health retreat in Colombia, and when I came back, I was like, I think I may have mentioned this, I had changed, but the world didn't change. And then where I think it fell short for me is they didn't have this continuation. Like, let's meet up once a week for the next 3 months. Make sure you're meditating. Make sure that you're doing the exercises.
The follow-up.
Yeah, following up and reinforcing everything that we had learned. Like, they didn't do that, and I wish they did. But for me, it was like clarity and like, okay, well, we need to. So we're going to get people started on this thing, jump-started.
Yes.
But then we want to like continue to give them the tools and the capabilities. We do have another mastermind that comes after that initial launch mastermind as well for people who just want to do the ongoing support, which I think for a lot of folks is really good. But I mean, just think about it, like having a room full of peers and marketing experts that you get to meet with up to 3 times per week. And think about how much different that is than just completely working by yourself, in isolation.
It's everything. I mean, and I have spent so much money. I had spent a lot of money during the pandemic, and I think everyone got burnt out, because everyone was just sitting at home. And then the smart people that were like already doing online courses, it was like the gold rush. Which, good on them, because they were ready. You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame them, but I think that what happened is that a lot of the early adapter kind of people kind of got burnt out and kind of got stung in that era, because a lot of people that really weren't ready to help people beyond that course model, you know what I mean? But beyond the funnel model, the funnel, like you're saying, but like you're saying, when you're working with businesses, and the reason I'm going through this too is because you're not that, and I think it's important for people to understand that, because you're not like, this is how you build a course online. Not that you don't have clients that do that, but that's not what you're doing when you're talking about supporting people with marketing. You're talking about really helping them get clear on what their delivery business development process is, which is going to be a case-by-case basis. Right. And it's like you said, it's going to be holistic. So it's not just a build a course online thing, because I think a lot of people got burnt out on.
Courses. Yeah. So we did make a pivot between pivots, and we took our certification and we thought, we got the certification, let's go sell it. nobody bought it. Nobody cared about it. There were tons of courses out there, a lot of free courses. And that was when we had probably the biggest aha moment was, you know what? People they're not looking to learn how to be expert marketers. Nobody wants to be an expert marketer. So if you're a business owner and let's say you're a small staffing agency, we've worked with a lot of those, and you get into it because you want to recruit and staff up positions, right? We had a couple nursing staffing companies, healthcare staffing companies. They're not doing this so they can be expert marketers. What they want is a marketing solution, right?
And what they want to do is find good nurses and hospitals or healthcare practices to hire them.
So imagine taking all the things that are on your plate as an entrepreneur, starting up this business, and now we're saying, hey, add 10 hours a week to learning how to do marketing. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They just want the marketing to get done. And so that's the key to this is we are teaching a lot as we go, but you're not walking into these sessions to learn something. You're walking into these sessions to stand up your marketing campaigns. And so learning is a part of that process, but it's not, you don't have to be an expert on how to market. You walk in the room, we help you come up with ideas using your tool. We help point you in the right direction. We tell you what to do. We'll even bring you into our project management tool and assign tasks to you so you can keep it going without kind of getting lost in it. But we're not going to say, hey, take this course on Google Ads, become a Google ad expert, and then all your problems are going to be solved. No, nobody has time for that. It's more like, all right, let's talk about the campaigns. Great. Now let's go into Google Ads right now. All right, we're going to walk you through this part. You do it. Great. Now let's move on to the next person. In and out, tactical, get it done.
Right. So would you say that you are, because you've worked with pre-startup, right? And you've worked with pre-revenue.
Fortune 50. Yeah.
Okay, so all the way up to Fortune 50. So wow, so you have a lot of extensive knowledge. So you have probably seen people grow really fast, and then maybe you've seen some people fail really fast. Maybe grow and then fail, maybe both. And I'm sure that you've helped people in between. You've helped people who were maybe on the rise to grow, or you've helped people that were maybe falling to move forward. So my question for you on that is that would you say that with your expertise, something that people can really can count on, connecting with you all is especially like maybe companies that are they're right now, maybe they're not startup, but they're maybe, I'm thinking practices. They're practices, they have patients, they're doing well, and they're at a point where they're like, okay, I want to grow. With your expertise, you might have a special way of telling like where they may be stalling in their growth, or how they can take that growth, like, because it might be customized for the person, right?
100%. So when we take people, the very first step that we go through is the AI plus you workshop, where we build out that AI marketing companion. And this process, what we did in that workshop is we took all of our onboarding sequences that used to take 3 weeks to get through, and we packaged it into this bot. We just programmed this bot around it. Initially we were saying, it'll lead our client sessions, and they were like, nah, let's just give this away. This is a hook, right? People are going to build their marketing companion using this, and then they're going to need help afterward, but they're also going to get this really powerful tool in the process. And so, sorry, I'm sort of losing my train of thought. What was the original question?
That's okay. It was my fault because I got all excited. No, I was asking you because you're talking about, okay, the AI. I was asking you have an eye for being able to tell like where someone's stuck in their marketing, and so you were saying this is basically what the onboarding process. What I'm hearing you say is that's the onboarding process, and you move everyone through this AI and you tool first. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly okay. Right. Yes. So that's the point. So just going through that process of really drilling down on their business, first there's the operational, like functional aspect of it. And then we get into the marketing vision. When we start getting into the marketing vision, that's when we first start realizing where all the gaps actually are. You know,
Okay.
we had a client, a VIP client that we have still. It's a bookkeeping client. And, you know, when they first brought us in, it was all about leads. Everybody, that's all usually people want when they hire a marketing agency. I need more leads, I need more leads, more leads. But for them, it wasn't just a lead problem. It was, you know, what to do with those leads once they got in. Like, they're doing these webinars for a very popular software in their niche, and they haven't generated a customer to date. And they've been doing it for years. And it's like, well, listen, this is a captive audience. This is somebody who's really interested in what you have to say. Let's create an offer for that alone, put it out there, and get those people coming into you. And guess what? That's what's happening. They're getting leads, they're getting customers, and they're at a point now where they're like, we can't take on new clients until April or May at this point. And we're just like, okay, well, that's a pretty cool problem. Great problem, right? But then there's a new problem. They can't take clients on until April or May. So now what do we do to help that? Well, growth is all encompassing. Growth is not just top of funnel. So when you think of growth marketing versus regular marketing, it's all about the entire customer experience. And one part of that customer experience is production. So you need more people on the floor. Let us set up. Look, we've worked with a lot of staffing agencies. We know a thing or two about recruiting people through websites. So that's what we're working on right now, is building out a career center for the website. They don't have anything like that. They pay a recruiter for it. So they're paying all this extra money. You don't need to do this. You guys are growing at such a clip and such a steady rate that you can make hiring decisions 3 or 4 months in advance now. Like, that is a gift from God. So, so let's use it.
Man, that's where you want to be.
Right.
So
I was talking about it earlier.
To be, again, you're coming back to, it's coming back to you being a holistic solution that's really in it with them, you know, like, you're not just, because that's the other thing that I think burnt people out on marketing people, unfortunately, is that everyone calls himself a marketing you know what I mean? Like, sure. When you don't even know, like, what questions, you know, it's a good question to be, what should you be even looking for in a marketer? Because most people hear marketing and they don't know if they're talking, you know, if someone has been like, hey, can you do marketing for me? And they're talking about me taking flyers and putting it on their car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a different definition for marketing for everybody. But for you, being a growth strategist, a growth marketer, that is such a more, first of all, the whole the word strategist really should say a lot to people, because that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. And so we spend that, when we build that bot, it's in the beginning, that's why we're not just asking questions about leads. You know, we're asking questions about, what's the customer experience like? You know, what's the sales process like? How do you get leads today? What are the successes? Like, we're asking all these questions because, you know, I've been doing this so long now. You know, I started as an inbound marketer back in 2013, and you're asking them questions to lead to an inbound marketing retainer. That's all that matters, is getting to that inbound marketing retainer. But, you know, so you don't talk about sales. You don't talk about, you know, customer retention. You don't talk about, you know, anything beyond getting that lead in the door. Nowadays, it's like, no, you've got to talk about all of it, because look, it can change so quickly when that problem shifts from one thing to the next, you know. And so you've got to be ready for it. You've got to know, kind of already have that muscle memory, that knowledge about what that means to address this problem. And so, I don't know if you remember going through this and talking about pirate metrics. It's how we define the different stages of the customer journey: acquisition, activation, revenue, retention, referral. And it sort of wash, rinses, and repeats.
Yeah, I remember a lot. I remember going through a lot, but I also remember that there were a lot of things I didn't consider, you know, I wouldn't have considered to think about on my own. Right. There were a lot of concepts that I was new to learn about. And there was a lot that I couldn't recall if you asked me, but it was thorough, and it was relevantly thorough. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if is relevantly a word. I don't know. I just made it up. But it is now. It was so thorough, and I loved the fact that I could take my time with it. because I think sometimes too, if you are working with someone, like if you were just to be with them, like you said, you'd have the client meetings one-on-one. I think that that's great. I think for somebody that is just starting out, this is a great tool. I think this is a great tool for a personal, someone who is building a personal brand or building a platform like 5-Star Conversations like I am, and figuring all that out. Just being able to sit with the questions, because they were so thorough, yet they were easy to understand, but they forced me, I'm like, okay, I could just type something, but why do that? Like, why even do, like you're saying, why even do this if it's not going to be an embodied feeling? And so which the pirate metrics is what you were just talking about?
Yeah. And it's funny because most people don't retain that, and it's not necessary to retain it. It kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Yeah, we're not here to teach you how to be expert marketers. We're here to help you market your business. And those are two different things. Yeah, but it's a fine line, because it's an empowerment product. It's not a do it for you product. And so you just got to give people as much as they need to get that task accomplished. In this particular case, going through that workshop, the task was feeding the bot with the information that's going to be useful when it's time to use it as a marketing agent. And so we're asking about pirate metrics, and we define those things in that exercise. And then when you attach it to the Catalyst engine later, it knows what they communicate, right? And you can see the relevancy. I'm offering up acquisition-based experiments, which is basically like lead generation for most people. And it's built into our methodology. So our methodology will say, okay, well, if you're going to generate those leads, what happens after that lead comes in? Do you have a plan to nurture those leads? No, let me get that plan together for you. Then what about sales? Do you have a sales plan? No. Okay, let me get that together for you. And so this bot will basically start filling in those gaps that you might not have otherwise even thought about if you were doing it by yourself. So defining those things is really important, but knowing the verbatim jargon later on, it's not going to matter, right? It's really. But
knowing what you offer, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What I wanted to say is that, but knowing what to ask is the brilliance of your tool, because most people wouldn't know what they should be thinking about.
Right. Yeah. It's just like when you hire a marketing agency and they take you through that onboarding process. A good agency or a good marketer is going to be able to ask all the right questions, not leave any lulls in the middle, not make everybody go, I don't know, and just stop. Like, they take you through it. And so for us, that's what we wanted to accomplish. And so we probably tested 100 different versions of this thing. And it's hard, man. You're going through the process of, okay, I just reprogrammed it. Now I got to test it. Well, it's an hour and a half test every single time. Like yesterday, we launched it and we had all these brand new changes and it came out really good. But then we get to the document part at the end. Anyway, I don't want to get too much in the weeds.
But it's work. It is work.
Right.
It's work to make it seem to make it so smooth.
But yeah, so you just compare the time. So anybody who has ever hired a marketer, they know that there's a ramp up period. Now, ramp up period is usually weeks and months before they go from just getting hired to publishing the first content. And with this, like, you could be at the end of the day, if you really focus on it, you could be, publishing content that day. So it really has accelerated the speed on it. It helps people keep their attention span, because over 3 weeks, I know it's over like usually 6 or 7 meetings over those 3 weeks that it used to take. But now it's like we're getting it all done in one session. So most business owners don't have the capacity to do homework. They don't necessarily have the ability or even they have no interest. And once that screen turns off, they're on to growing their business and all the other things that they're doing. So you've got to make the best use of that time as you can. And what I've learned is that just keep homework to a minimum. And so that's what we built it around. The idea here is we got to get through the entire session. In that, the workshop is 3 hours long, but an hour of that is really kind of setting it up, and we go through that meditation I was telling you before. And then we have like sort of a wind down and a closing meditation as well. So it really takes us about 2 hours to get through what used to take us 3, 4, 5 weeks. So it
Wow.
really is. It really is interesting. And going back to another point you were saying, the most exciting part about this for me is it is starting over for us, by the way. Like we were here, and then last year we were here, and now we're
Yeah.
climbing back up, right?
Yeah.
But the best part about it is that who our client is the kind of person we want to help. We're working directly with CEOs and founders and people whose lives are directly impacted by the work we do. And I cannot tell you how rewarding that is. And something we
Ugh.
just never got with Orange Pegs. With Orange Pegs, think $10,000 retainer. What's happening is you get hired and then handed off to the sales team or the marketing team or the operations team, and you never see the guy ever again who's really taking the risk here. And so it's a battle from day one, battling sales, battling, the CEO's vision from afar. Hey, we published this content. It's getting us leads. You saw it for the first time, CEO. You're not really sure about this one sentence. So you're going to shut the whole engine down after 3 months of work. Like none of that crap anymore. It's
Yeah.
people who are grateful, is people who are passionate, who are excited about their business. And that to me is probably as painful as this has all been, this is the group we've always wanted to work with. We could never figure out how to make the price point work. And now I
Yeah.
think we did. So
I love that because yeah, at the risk of sounding emo, but that's what we do over here at 5-Star Conversations is we keeps it real. But but we need look at our world. I mean, we need a different type of leader. We need it, like it is clear that we need leadership who are empathic, who are passionate about service in every single area of business, and where everything does not boil down to the bottom line. I mean, I don't see, dramatic me, but I don't see our earth being able to sustain this level of greed and just wanton abandon of just, what matters, and, our earth and our land. And, these are all very important things. And I don't believe that. I think the big lie is that you have to be one or the other, that you're either an activist who is, living on the street, or who's dirt poor, or that's the story that's being marketed and propagandized to us. But I believe that people like you, and people like me, and people like the people that are watching this, the 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City, the people who want to be of service, like there is an ecosystem for us to create with each other. And the more that we can support the right people for growth, and that's personal development, professional development, and business growth in the right ethical ways, I believe that we can be a strong voice of change in the world.
I love that. I love that. I was just complaining to Allison yesterday about my LinkedIn feed. Maybe I was complaining to her. Maybe I actually wrote on one of these posts where you see these people and all they talk about is how, when they were 20 or whatever, they couldn't rub two nickels together. They were poor. They did this and this. But then I realized I pulled up myself up to my bootstraps, and now I'm doing $15 million a day or whatever sort of ridiculous number they're putting out there. And all they focus on is the money they're making. And I'm sitting here going, I have chased the money my whole life, and it has never made me happy. I don't care how much of it I was doing, how much of it I was making, or how much, I was succeeding. It always felt like the more I had, the harder it got, the bigger the weight around my neck got. And then at the end of the day, that focus got me, it made me get caught off guard when things changed as rapidly as they did. And I wish I had the foresight to realize that the problem wasn't the business model. The problem was me. The problem was I was chasing the wrong things. I was making too many compromises. taking on clients I knew were going to be a pain in the ass, but I did it because they were willing to pay. And, we went in there, we crushed it. We did the thing we were supposed to do, but every single time these things always blow up, and you walk away just sort of bloodied and bruised and thinking, I'm never doing that again. And then the next big ticket client comes in. You're like, okay, well, this is the last one. All I need to do is get 3 more of these, and then we can start picking our clients and being choosy about who we bring on. It's like, no,
that's so like a lot of people feel about work, a job, like, oh, I'm just going to work here until I,
until I die. That's the key.
Magical.
Until I die.
Well, then they say like, oh, I'll just work here a little bit and then I'll start my thing. And I think, so, for you working with the already businesses and founders that already have their feet on solid ground, you also, your product, to help people clarify how they're going to bring it to market. I think that's kind of the way that helped me. That's how it helped me in a lot of ways is figuring out how to bring my media intellectual property, idea to market is what it is. And that was powerful. And that's going to give a lot of great people freedom too. So I think that's amazing. I love what you all are doing. And I'm so glad you went on your trip.
Oh yeah. Everybody is glad about that. My wife, my family, my business partner, me personally. Yeah, no, I needed it.
And you know what, that really like loops that kind of close almost. I mean, shoot, I definitely want to bring you and Allison on again, and I want to be able to support you all however I can to help get more people to you and to your workshops. I think that's probably the smartest way to do it, right? Is just to get people to your workshops. So definitely I'll keep an eye out, but if you all want to let me know when your workshops are, then I would love to personally invite people to go to your workshops because they're so valuable and what you're providing. But kind of to kind of close it out, I mean, the fact that you started this conversation talking about like taking care of yourself and your mental health and your heart and your mindset and everything and your health and well-being. And that's what the 5-Star Conversations platform is for too, because a lot of times, and this goes for, whether you're a founder or CEO, but also even more so when you're a healthcare practitioner, you're giving so much, you're giving so much, and you're giving to your employees, or you're also giving to your patients. And, when that disconnect happens, people can check out, but now we're talking people's lives, on top of that. But I just believe that what you all offer is just helping people to get out of working in their business, to bring the joy back and the excitement, and figure out what get back to, like you said, what they're really actually doing and why they're actually really here. That is a transformative experience and can get people excited, but you all make it very tactical and practical and help them to clarify their mission and vision again. And I absolutely love that. And the fact that you started with what you just said, you started by taking care of yourself so that you could remember what was really near and dear to your heart. And that's why you're able to step back into your business and have success. So I thank you so much for sharing that, because I believe that a lot of people in healthcare, I mean, they've kind of gotten beat down bad. You know what I'm saying? Like after COVID and everything, they really had, they really got.
They've been getting beat down for 20 years. Let's be real. I mean, the amount of the nursing shortage, the doctor shortage, therapist shortage. I'm married to a licensed therapist, so I know all about what you're saying. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. And she's actually getting into specializing in helping other therapists because of the weight you bring on when you're helping other people. You give so much, and I agree with everything you said. So thank you.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that too. And I'd love to hopefully maybe talk to her one day as well. So that would be great.
Yeah,
so I want to let everybody know, of course, I'll put this in the show notes too, but where can we find you?
So I think the best place to go right now is growth growth-catalyst.io, growth-catalyst.io. And then if you want to check out the next workshop we have coming up, and we have one every month. We have a new cohort for our mastermind start every month as well. But the workshop is growth-catalyst.io/AI-U. AI-U. And so it's always it always has the most recent or the one that's coming up, so go ahead and register there, or you will have to apply. We take a look at why you're here, make sure you have all the right tools. Then when we approve you, then we're off to the races. So it's very exciting. It's a great session. As you went through it, you saw firsthand what it does for you, the clarity it brings you. And at the end of it, you get this really cool tool, and you get this AI bot on ChatGPT that knows your business, knows you, knows your vision for growth.
Your business.
knows your business, okay?
Oh, man, it is so good. It is so good. Did I get it right down here? Growth-catalyst.io?
Where is it? Where do I look?
Can you see it? Okay, let me see. On the ticker on the bottom?
Oh, yes, there it is. Growth-catalyst.io. Yep, that's the website.
Perfect. Okay, great. Of course, I'm going to put it in the show notes too, because I should have thought to do that. Okay, so that's note to self. I'm going to fix that. I'm building in public, everyone. Okay, I'm building in public.
We all are at this point.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking an hour and coming to visit with me today. And so what I just want to say to you and to everyone, well, first of all, thank you for breaking growth down in a way that feels grounded for people, which is important, ethical again, and human, because that is what it's all about, especially when you're in the service business, and especially for leaders who are carrying a big responsibility. What stands out from this conversation is that growth doesn't have to be chaotic or exhausting. That's not what we want. With the right systems, it can be intentional, and with the right people on your side and on your team, it can be measurable and aligned with the values that brought leaders into this work in the first place. If you're watching this live or on replay and growth has felt overwhelming, let this be a reminder that clarity creates confidence and systems create sustainability. And I do want to let you know that all of my notes for all of my guests that have been so on point and so great were all written with the Catalyst in Growth Catalyst.
There you go.
I want it has really helped me to clarify my message. I put the bio in it. It already gets who I am, and it creates what I'm trying to say through the 5-star conversations in the Sun City language. So I just wanted to make sure I highlighted that for you and for everyone, because this saves so much time and it is so helpful. So please make sure you go to growth-catalyst.io, get enrolled in the next workshop, or contact them directly and get right started. You want to have great humans on your team. So that with that being said, this conversation is part of 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City, where we spotlight the people shaping health, healing, leadership, and connection across the borderland. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see everyone. Thank you so much, Lucas. And we're going to see everyone at the next 5-Star Conversation. Make sure you get in touch with Lucas. You will not regret it. All right. Peace.
All right. See ya.